Hey, everybody, this is Simply Sherri with Pop Culture Uncovered. And at the start of 2026, I started participating in the Anti-Brain Rot Reading Challenge created by Jen Anine with the social media handle This Story Ain't Over. The goals of the challenge are to read more, diversify your reading, your to be read, your TBR, and to take some time away from doom scrolling. I am going to link this video that she posted around the beginning of the year, which gives you all the details about the challenge. Um, I want her to get that engagement. So, again, I will link the video in the comments and try to get it linked in the card so you can go watch that. In general, the reading challenge, she wants you to create a consistent reading practice. She has a way that you can do this if you can only have 15 minutes a day to read, or if you have 45 minutes a day to read, depending on what you have available to you. You will read through the challenge, you read 10 from 10 different genres, 4 different formats, and 10 different identities. You can use one book to cover more than one of the rules of the challenge. I've done this once or twice because it helps. She also requested that you engage with the book by annotating and taking notes, keeping a reading journal. That has been the hardest part for me, taking the time to sit and journal. So this is kind of my journal right now. But I promise for this next part, I'm going to do better. She also suggests that maybe create a personal curriculum sometime this year. I have two. If you want to find out about them, just ask. I'll do another video. It's a lot of fun. One of her rules of this challenge is that for every 5 white authors that you read one biopic author. I have decided that where the rule is not a specific identity of author, I've gone with a Black person. And that is just what I've done with my list, and which has opened me up to a lot of books that A, have been on my TBR that I haven't read yet, or B, new authors that I've never read. So that's been a lot of fun. I know I should be doing this roundup monthly, but time gets away from me and I forget. So my goal is to start doing this monthly, but in order to do that, I kind of have to wrap up Q1. So if y'all don't mind. Also, I will not spoil any of these books, even though a lot of them are older. I've only read in this collection of books that I'm about to share with you, only one of them is new, brand new. Also, you won't see me holding up too many physical copies of books because I am a library, Kindle, and audiobook girly. My Kindle is upside down. So I don't have a lot of books to physically show you, but I have all the covers. So we're going to have a good time with this. Also, to save some time, I am not going to give you the this is an outstanding read, or if you're in the mood to read this, because I'd be doing this, finding 12 ways to say this is an outstanding read was going to be kind of hard. So I just decided, so we're not going to do that. But I am going to say that I would highly recommend all of these books that I am about to share with you. According to my story graph, since January 1st of this year, I have completed 12 books. I'm very excited about that. I did not think I had completed that many, but let's go. My first book of the year was the graphic novel and historical fiction of Octavia Butler's Kindred, adaptation by Damian Duffy and John Jennings. Kindred has been on my TBR for years. I think my partner and I were supposed to be reading it together, and it never happened. In the 1970s, Dana, a Black woman from California, is transported back in time to a plantation in pre-Civil War Maryland. She is called back to save the life of Rufus, her ancestors' owners. Throughout the story, she travels back and forth between her life in California and the plantation. She has no warning when these events are going to occur, or even why she's there, or how long she is going to be there. I should have read this book so much sooner. I am mad at myself for not having read it yet. This is an excellent book. Please, again, I know I said I'm not going to say that 12 times, but please go pick it up. Book 2 was An American Marriage. This was my literary fiction pick by Tahari Jones. Celestial and Roy are newlyweds visiting his hometown in Louisiana from Atlanta, visiting his hometown in small town Louisiana, when he is arrested and wrongly convicted of a crime and is sentenced to a long prison term. This story is about what happens to all those affected, to all the loved ones affected by a wrongfully convicted person. This story is about what happens to the families and to the wrongfully convicted person. How do you balance maintaining your connection with this person? Should you stay with this person? How do you consider to show them love and support? How do you balance that with continuing on with your life? What is going on with what is also going on with the wrongfully accused that's trapped in the system? How do they stay hopeful and find joy? This is a beautifully written story tackling a subject that I had never thought about. With all the true crime podcasts I listen to, I never thought about, what is going on with the families? Book 3 was my Swana author, Southwest Asian or Northern African. I read The Stardust Thief. This story follows Luli, a smuggler of illegal magic, who is blackmailed by the Sultan into finding a magical lamp to help a jinn bodyguard and cowardly prince, leading them on a perilous desert quest filled with folklore, adventure, and secrets. The book is inspired by the 1,000 Nights and Stories legends. The author was born and raised in Kuwait, which is where they fit into this bubble. And this book would also have fulfilled my fantasy genre, but however, I have another book later down my TBR to get onto this. And as much as I would love to get into a more detailed review, of this story, I am going to hold off. The Lovely Angels with Pop Culture Uncovered will be at Snug Books in Baltimore at the end of April, beginning of May, doing an in-person event discussing The Stardust Thief. That's all I'm going to say. Last year, as part of my work with Pop Culture Uncovered, I watched a brilliant documentary called Come See Me in the Good Light, which was recently Oscar nominated for long-form documentary about the late Colorado poet laureate Andrea Gibson's life. I wanted to read something by them that wasn't just their poetry, even though that's all I've done is inhale their poetry and work. This book, How Poetry Can Change Your Heart, written with their partner, Megan Foley, is such an amazing read. The book is not a poetry book, but it's a book about poetry for those who already love to participate in the art, such as myself, for those who want to enter into the art, either by writing or attending poetry experience. This is beautifully written and definitely touches all those pleasure points in your brain. I called this a joy read. It was just, something to it was just a beautiful read. I also want to, specifically with this book, I want to let you know that it is only available electronically. I tried to get it from my library. It took me 3 months for it to come through the library. I eventually ended up purchasing a copy for my Kindle so that I could keep copies of the notes that I was picking up as I was reading this book. Romance. Book 5 is My Romance and Disability Representation. Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Chloe Brown lives with fibromyalgia and lives in a flat in London. She is trying to experience life and not have her world just be about managing her illness, and has created a list of things she wants to do. Her building manager, Red Morgan, is asked to help her check some items off the bucket list. They hate each other at first, but it's not a love hate relationship. It's more, I need to hate you so I can push you away because I really like you. And the story follows the ups and downs of these two falling in love. It's a romance novel. I normally don't read romance, but this story is really adorable. I really enjoyed it. While her physical disability does play a role in the story, so does both of their mental health is also addressed, and how their issues play into the relationship. Again, this is not enemies to lovers. It's more like, let me push you away before you push me away. It's a lovely read. And if you're just looking for something relaxing and just kind of letting your mind go, get a life, Chloe Brown. Book 6, Razor Blade Tears. This was a recommendation from my friend Girl Genius. And it started our pretty much what we would call our BYOB, Bring Your Own Book Club chat with me and another friend. This book is in my preferred genre. I love suspense. I love crime novels. So this is like right in my wheelhouse. This is a crime novel, not a whodunit, more of a whydunit, focusing on the protagonist's efforts to get justice. This book is about Ike Randolph and Buddy Lee, fathers of an interracial gay couple. Their sons were murdered before the book starts. The fathers want to know who and why and are willing to burn down Richmond, VA to find out what happened. During this journey, they face the villains of the story. They face their own prejudices towards each other and their thoughts and feelings about their sons being gay. I could not get enough of this book. Our book club has had a good talk for a few days about this book, and we have wish casted the adaptation. And there is one in the works on Apple TV. So hopefully within the next year or two, we'll get this on screen with some amazing, amazing actors. I did not mention this book fulfilled my queer LGBTQIAP plus representation. I do not want to go too much more into it, but excellent read, excellent read, excellent read. Please go get it. On February 24th, 2026, we get another joy read. We get Kin by Tahari Jones. My daughter, oh my word, I love it. I love both my kids very much, but she got us tickets to a reading and I was able to get my edition signed. But I had to read the book so that I was ready for the book talk. So thanks to my daughter, we got tickets to the book talk. Annie and Vernice are two lifelong friends that tackle life in 1950s segregated South without their mothers. Their mothers are lost to them for different reasons, which is why how they have internalized this loss affects their paths into adulthood. I have been asked by Pop Culture Uncovered to do a full review, so I will do that. And when it's ready, I will have it linked. But what I will say is that the book talk was amazing. If you get a chance to go to one with Miss Tahari Jones, please go. This is an amazing book. I can say that. Amazing book. All the reactions that you're seeing on TikTok about this book are real. It broke my heart. After I finished that, I went back into my I had started this book before I picked up Kin, so I came back to it. This is Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. This is a powerful book written as a letter from Coates to his son about growing up in Baltimore and navigating life as a Black man who is always seen as an enemy and who is always in danger no matter where he is in the world. This book, again, has sat on my TBR for way too long. Coates's writing is beautiful. It is almost lyrical. The number of quotes and times I had to stopped reading to reflect on what he said or how he turned a phrase. It is just amazing. This is relatable to all readers who care about Black lives. Please pick this up next time when you get a chance. So I was scrolling, as I've seen people say online, and I saw this book and I said, okay, this looks interesting because I do have a thing. I do enjoy how so many different artists are twisting fairy tales. I read another one earlier this last year. I read it last year with my partner, called Cinderella is Dead, and it was a twist on the Cinderella tales. This is a novella that is a twist on the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. Our heroine, Zennia Gray, has an incurable disease that will end her life at the age of 21. She ends up in another timeline saving Sleeping Beauty. What I love about this book is not only do we meet the Grimm's fairy tale version of Sleeping Beauty, we also get in touch with an earlier French story that is also darker. We meet that Sleeping Beauty. And with this book, when this character's name comes up, I stopped reading for a moment because I wanted to research that story and that version of Sleeping Beauty. And another feature of this book is that it would also fulfill the queer LGBTQIAP plus character representation. So if you haven't picked one yet, as I've been reading this, A Spindle Splintered by Alex Harrow. Go ahead and get that. I love how this story resolved. This is the first of 2 in the series, and I think I might go ahead and pick that up because I have a habit. We'll learn about it in a second. Book 10 is my science choice. Oh my word. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. Another one that has sat on my TBR for way too long. This book is phenomenal. And I know I should have read it 15 years ago when it came out. What I loved about what Skloot did in this book is that this could have easily have been 3 books. One that tells the story of Henrietta Lacks and her family and their fight for recognition of her contribution to science. The story of the science of how the cells were cultivated, how they were able to be, how they'd be able to continue to be cultivated for over 70 years at this point, and what research they have been able to use these cells for and what medical advancements they have used the cells for. An amazing, amazing piece. And then finally, there's the story of the ethics of human cell collection and human cell research, and who owns the biological material after it's taken from your body. You wouldn't have thought about that. And it's been dancing on my brain ever since I finished reading this book. If I had one wish, this book again is 16 years old, and I would love for her to do an updated edition of this book with an addendum about what has happened since she closed out the book into what has happened today. I have a friend that is a research nurse that has given me some insight of what's happened, but I would really like one more chapter, sis. Just tell us what's going on. Actually, maybe because I said this is 3 books, give us all 3 chapters, please. And thank you. How the ethics rules have changed, what the science has done, and what is the update on the family. Again, I have Googled the first part, but the rest of it would be cool. So yeah, we could do like a part 2 of this book. After I finished The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, I was getting ready to travel for work, and my TBR is good and it's dense, but I needed something kind of just light and breezy because I was getting ready to travel for work. And I wanted to be able to give the next set of books on my TBR the attention they deserve. So at the suggestion of the other member of the unofficial BYOB book club, I read Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden. McFadden is the author of The Housemaid, which was adapted into a movie in 2025, which, from what I hear, everybody loved. So I may do a book versus movie on that because I'm curious now. Debbie Mullins. As Debbie Mullins' life starts to fall apart, she loses her job. Her teenage daughter is being a pain. A husband who has secrets. She starts exacting some revenge plots. After reading this book, my first thought was I want a TV adaptation. I want 8 to 10 episodes. I want everything that happens in this book to take its time. A 2-hour movie will be too short. You're going to miss something. This is such a well-written story, and I loved every minute of it. I loved every word reading this. I don't want to say too much, but please go out and get this book. You just go get it. It is such a fun read. And again, I was still traveling for work. And one of my things is if I enjoy an author's writing and an author's writing style, I want to read everything they write. So my next book is The Coworker by Frida McFadden. I just picked that one up. Frida McFadden is into psychological thrillers, which again, right down my road. Dawn Schiff works for a nutritional supplement company with Natalie Farrell. Dawn goes missing and Natalie becomes a suspect in her disappearance. This is a perfect travel read with unlikable characters and taut suspense. Again, I don't want to spoil anything because, again, this is another book that I could probably sit and talk about for a little while. But this was a fun read, and I'm glad I picked it up. Probably if I need another joy read, which is what I call the books that I'm not reading that are on my anti-brain rot TBR, I call them joy reads. I would probably pick up another one of her books. I think she has 24, so I got plenty of room. So that is what I've read in the first quarter of the year. My current reads are Beyond the Glittering World, an anthology of Indigenous feminism and futurism. This is a stunning mix of short stories and poetry from Indigenous women authors, and Indigenous representation is one of, and short stories is two of the, again, remember I said there's like identities and then there are formats. So I've taken my identity and format and made it one book. This has been a great read. I borrowed it from the library. I may have to order myself a copy so that I can make some notes, but this is an excellent book. Really enjoying it. I am listening to The Mother of Black Hollywood. This is written as a conversation between you and her. Like you have gone over to her house with like 3 bottles of wine and she has snacks and y'all are sitting and talking about what has happened in her life. That's how this reads. And I'm really enjoying it. It is definitely 100% Jennifer Lewis. If you love Jennifer Lewis as a actress, and her personality and how she presents herself, you will love this book. And finally, this book is called Murder All Sewn Up. This is when I'm trying to go to sleep. I want a cozy mystery, something that's kind of light on the brain that just helps me wind down. Usually cozy mysteries are dealing with people that own bakeries and are cooking. I found this to be funny as a title because this book happens in a craft shop. And a craft shop owner as the central characters. And to know me is to know that I love to be behind my sewing machine. So I picked this up. And again, I don't care how quickly or how slow it takes me or long it takes me to read this because the point is to help me wind down and go to sleep. So Murder All Sewn Up by Sherri is my last book, the last book on my that I'm currently reading. Yes, I am currently reading 3 books. I usually have one that have 1 or 2 that I'm actually reading, either on my Kindle or in book form, and then an audiobook. So yeah, that's normal for me to have like 2 to 3 books going that way. I have ADD. Don't suggest it for everybody. So that is my Q1 book report for my anti-brain rot reading challenge. I'm going to do my best to get my April one up, by beginning of May. If you want to see the rest of my books on my to be read pile that I'm using for the challenge, let me know. I'll be more than happy to come back and do another video and share it with you, because I had a really good time putting that together too. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all all soon. Bye.